In California, the precincts are no longer larger than 1,000 registered voters. They're kept small for a purpose. Those that are management. The last election, the turnout was about 57, 58%. So the most we're ever going to have to count probably is around 600 ballots at a precinct.
Dangerous, do not approach. It's good. So we'll move on to another family of particular interest here in Potrero is
our area, or could there be need for putting water out in this part of the backcountry?
Oh no, we need water everywhere. We need water everywhere. One of the questions that people ask us a lot about is with the water. We shifted our focus from the desert, from the canyons in '86 to the desert right around 1996 when I was with the Padres. We started going out there and just kind of disorganized, putting water out there. Some players would even come with me sometimes, and then we started doing it more and more, especially after 2000. And it's just grown. Now there's about 20 organizations doing it. And we do it on both sides of the border.
You can do is to express your self to the Board of Supervisors, specifically Diane Jacob. Send her a letter focusing on the incompatibility of a mercenary military training facility with a rural community, and talk about the groundwater that will be permanently polluted because of this site. Also, you can make comments on the environmental impact report, which is due out in the January, February, March time period. That is the opportunity for public comment. And you can write letters to the Department of Planning and Land Use in response to that draft environmental impact report. So with those two weapons, I'm going to leave you, and if you use them, we will beat this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. You know, we have a table over here under the trees, and sort of as a follow-up to what Jeanette's talking about, is there's a handout that we have, and the handout has the address where you can write to the Department of Department of Land Use and get on the list to receive the environmental impact statement if you haven't already gotten on that list, so you would get the draft. And we also have the Board of Supervisors addresses on that, so I urge you to pick that up before we leave on the march, and we can even pass it out to you so that you can do the follow-up and do that kind of writing and get on the appropriate list. And the flyer's in English and Spanish, so please take multiple copies and pass them out for us. Now, if you've been reading the newspapers the last couple of weeks, we knew Blackwater was very bad for the environment here in San Diego, but many of us are also opposed to them because of the kind of company that they are and because of their war profiteering. The events have been tragic in Iraq, what's coming out about it, but we already knew a lot of it, but we're learning more. And I think that we have to ask ourselves, you know, is this the kind of company that we want to have in Potrero? Is it? No. Thank you, that's the right answer. You know, it's interesting, the congressional report last week said that in many of their gun exchanges, Blackwater fired first, 84% of the time. And they rarely stick around to see if they've hurt anybody, but we know that they're killing innocent civilians. And I just can't say enough that this is not the kind of company that we want here in Potrero. And I don't think this kind of company belongs in a democracy, frankly. There should be no place in Potrero, no place anywhere for companies that profit off of war and human suffering. So that's another reason to stop Blackwater. I have Dave Patterson here with me from Veterans for Peace, who is going to talk with you. He's with the San Diego Veterans for Peace. He's a veteran, and he will tell you more about why mercenaries are not good people.
Thank you. The San Diego Veterans for Peace is very happy to be here today to support the local people. You know, this argument about allowing Blackwater here or not can be easily framed. There's two issues. First, every dollar that we give to Blackwater takes bullets and armor away from our volunteer military forces. Every dollar that we give to Blackwater, the people across the street, it takes money away from the services for our veterans. Every dollar is counterproductive. If we need a larger military force, we need a larger voluntary military force because they are sworn to defend and uphold the Constitution. They are not mercenaries. The second issue has to do with not only with the money, but the way that Blackwater operates. As we have seen, they have been running amok in Iraq. We do not need mercenaries running amok in Protero. We do not need mercenaries running amok in California. We do not need them running amok in America. We have a perfectly good working system in America. It's called the National Guard. We bring them home from Iraq. We let them protect us because, as I said, they're sworn to uphold the Constitution. If we end up with Blackwater in the streets, it won't be like Tiananmen Square where the tanks stopped for the civilian. That's my view. So we have to start the fight here. This is where we win against Blackwater, and we're going to keep moving. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, one of the other good things we have going for us is Representative Bob Filner in the 51st District, who's here with us. He's been with us on this issue since day one when we went in to see him, and he's introduced legislation, and he will tell you about that. But we want to say we welcome Bob Filner here, and we welcome the kind of support that you can give us from Congress.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. All of California is watching. The nation is watching. And this is going to have an impact. There were news services from all over the country who were calling me up all week to say what's going on out there. And we're going to tell them that we're going to stop Blackwater from Potrero so we can stop Blackwater from any other place in America. So everybody is watching. I think they thought they were putting this into Duncan Hunter's district. Because for 20 years, Duncan, bless his heart, represented this area, and in the redistricting, I got it. So, Blackwater, you're going to have to deal with my army, not just with Duncan Hunter's army. You know, we read last week about a company that had contaminated meat, which was recalled, and then they were out of business. Well, Blackwater is a contaminant for American environment, for American democracy. They should be recalled immediately from Iraq and put out of business. Now we know we have to fight this at several levels. All of those who are here from Potrero know that they need help on the land use issues. This is an affront to the environment here. It's an affront to the lifestyle that people came to Potrero to live in. So we have to help them stop this on those land use issues. And you have to, as I've told people, they have got to get support from other parts of this county. So the county supervisors know that Potrero is being supported from throughout our county and throughout California and throughout the nation. Rick Jacobs is going to talk in a little bit. He has garnered thousands of people around California, around America, to help us here. And so we have help, and we're going to make sure that we are successful. You know, I was trying to figure out, beyond the land use issues, how we can help. We know that in a democracy, mercenaries are dangerous. I happen to be an historian. I can say anything because I got a PhD in history, right? If you watch societies, I don't care if they're Rome or Weimar Germany, the appearance of mercenaries who paid allegiance to a dictator undermined the kind of society that those countries had. They are dangerous. Mercenaries are dangerous to American democracy. And democracy is more fragile than most people think. They're running a war in Iraq counter to what even our guys who we don't trust anyway, but who counter to what they are saying. They are killing Iraqi civilians. That's a good way to win their hearts and minds. Unaccountable soldiers killing Iraqi civilians. So they are dangerous. We have to keep an eye on them. I introduced a piece of legislation which has I'm sort of ambivalent about it, but what it says is that you cannot establish a mercenary training force except where on a military base. Now, I had to do that for all kinds of reasons. I would like to ban them totally, but at least let's keep an eye on them in a federal situation where what they are doing is more public and more visible and more accountable to us. So we just wanted to try to have a federal lever on the actions here to back up a board of supervisors that is not known for its progressivism, for its respect for the environment. We got to back them up. First, you got to get them in the front, and then we're going to back them up from Washington, I hope, to make sure that we do not have Blackwater in San Diego County. That's our goal. And these deeper issues it just came out, of course, last week. We knew this was happening, but now the American people know. They are killing civilians. They are unprovoked violence. I suspect if they're on the road out here to, you're confronting 94, they may shoot their way just to the training camp. But hopefully we won't worry about that. They are counter to everything America could stand for, but they are running a war because our president doesn't trust the American people to run this war. He knows they'll be against it, so he has to hire people to run it for him. And they are doing an incredibly dishonest job. You saw their president testify to Congress. It was an incredible show, but an incredible show of arrogance, of unaccountability, of danger. He is just the kind of guy that we worry about. So we're going to stop him. Blackwater is a black mark on American democracy. We can't let them blackmail us into this so they can blackmail democracy further. And what they're doing is playing blackjack with the environment. We can't afford that gamble. We're going to stop them. Thank you so much.
Well done. All right, let's hear it again for Bob Filner. Wow, what a guy. Thank you so much for being here. Stop Blackwater!
Stop Blackwater!
Stop Blackwater!
Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater! Stop Blackwater!
All right. We have many allies in the struggle to stop Blackwater. We're very pleased today to have with us Rick Jacobs, who is the chair and founder of the Courage Campaign. He is the executive producer of Iraq for Sale, and he's here to support us and tell us about his initiatives in California to stop Blackwater.
Thank you very much. Courage Campaign exists to bring to life local organizing like this. This is phenomenal. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. As we were driving in, I live in LA, and Bob Brigham, who's with me, came down from San Francisco. So we were driving in, we looked around, and we said, how is it possible? How is it possible that you'd have a mercenary training facility with tanks and gunfire and the potential for wildfire and all the other things that Jeanette mentioned in this pristine, beautiful place? Well, there's only one way it's possible, and that's if you have a guy like George Bush in the White House who enables these people with secret contracts. And that's as Bob Filner said, that's how this all ends, is you end the secrecy and you end Blackwater. We did a film called Iraq for Sale, The War Profiteers. We did it a couple of years ago, and it has 4 war profiteers in it. 4. The first one that we featured was a little-known company called Blackwater. Now, you may know this story, but I want to tell it anyway because it's vital for people to know this. 2 points. Number 1, Blackwater is largely responsible for the infliction of damage to America in Iraq. Now, that's not a fiction. Here's what happened. Do you remember in the spring of 2004, you woke up and you looked on your internet screen or you looked at the New York Times and you saw charred dead bodies hanging from a bridge in Fallujah? Yes. Those were Blackwater employees who were sent in to Fallujah without a map, without proper gunners, without proper security at all. Well, guess what? They died. The Marines had to go in to try to get the bodies back, and that really started the beginning of this horrible civil war that we're in the middle of now. Second piece of that, the families sued Blackwater for wrongful death because Blackwater said, oh, sorry, they got killed. That fight has gone, it is now at the Supreme Court because Blackwater's trying to keep it out of the state courts. You see, they think they'll lose in the state courts, and they're probably right. So who'd they hire? Another august Californian, Ken Starr. Remember him? Ken Starr is now working for Blackwater, trying to keep these families from getting a little bit of compensation. One other point. You think that a fight in Potrero doesn't matter to the rest of the people in California and the people in the country? Well, it does. You remember Katrina a couple of years ago. Blackwater, as you'd see in this film, turned up uninvited into the flood zone in Katrina with great big armed guys with machine guns. They weren't invited. They said, we're here to provide security. They were looking for jobs. They're thugs looking for jobs. I think they're a little bit like the mafia. They show up and they say, we'll protect you or else. So we have to stop them. And I just want to thank Raymond Lutz, and I want to thank Jeanette and Carol and everybody here in this community who's come out, and you're showing us how to do what the nation has to do. 10,000 people have signed on to our petition asking our state government to stop this, asking our senators to support Bob Filner's act at the federal level. Jeanette, you're 100% right. It has to happen locally. But as Bob says, it's not just a local problem. It's a state problem and a national problem. We want to work with you at Courage Campaign to make sure that everybody knows what you're doing and knows that this has to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. Who says we don't have friends in high places? All right. Okay, well, hold up. We will. We're working on it. Just 1 second. I've got Gloria Daviston here. She was our wonderful MC at the music program last night, and she's got a few words for you. Gloria is with Vets for Peace, and she's going to talk about what we need to fuel this movement.
Thank you, Carol. You all are absolutely fabulous. You are beautiful. I am so glad you are here. I want to say, I love you, Bob Filner. Oh, I love you, Bob Filner. I also want you to take note on the rock. There they are. Go, children. Go, children. We got to raise them up to understand true American values. So it's important that they be out here. It's important that the little ones are here. But you're all fabulous. Thank you for coming out this afternoon. We know you could be doing any number of things. You could be at any number of places, but you're here, and it says something about your hearts and souls that you are here. It is so wonderful to be in Potrero. I have had a blast out here. Y'all are something else. I love the peaceful nature of Potrero, and I love the people who come together for peace. And the work of peace is serious, complicated work. It is involved work. It's work that must go on. It's work that's very important, and we are going up against corporate giants. But we can win. Remember Gulliver? Okay, he got taken down. We can win, but we need all of you, and we need your support, and that includes financial support. Shortly, they're going to be passing the plate, and please give as generously as you can, because this work must go on. We need your support to make it happen, and we want you to really dig deep actually, they're passing the plate, but it's a pillowcase. They're passing the pillowcase. So please participate more, not just standing and walking, but please participate with the dollars, because that's what makes it go on. The logistics of this sort of operation, very intense, very expensive, but we need to do this. We need to do this for Potrero. We need to do this for the future. And thank you again for being here, you peaceful people, you wonderful people, you residents of Potrero, and you friends of Potrero. You touch my heart.
Please give deeply. You know, we passed the pillowcases last night, and we got about $200. It's just going to help us a lot, pay for things like the truck and stuff we need to do. I see we've been joined by some friends. Hello. They don't say much, but their presence speaks volumes. One of the other important components of this struggle against Blackwater has been at the local level with the Potrero Community Planning Board. And as I've watched this, it's been amazing to see the citizens in Potrero rise up against their planning board and say no. So they have gathered the 300 signatures that they needed for a recall of the Potrero Planning Board. This is historic and significant. This doesn't usually happen to planning boards, but I think it speaks loudly in terms of how communities can take back their own planning board in their own communities. There will be a vote, and I'm happy to introduce to you today Billy Crawley, William Crawley IV, who is a local Potrero resident, who has been part of the recall and is running as part of the slate.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing out there? Right on. My name is William Crawley, and I'm a Potrero resident. I grew up here. I've lived here 30 years. And I'm running in the recall election. Thank you. I've seen a lot of changes around here, from 200 residents all the way to 900 now. It's still a nice community, and I'd like to keep it that way. The things that made the recall come about was the fact that people started coming to the meetings, checking out what's going on, and the rules weren't being followed. Policy I-1 and Brown Act weren't being followed. So it led to no other choice that to recall them. They weren't listening to the community. Yeah, and also they weren't listening, so we had no other choice. And then finally they put out the new vote with the conditions. They had more conditions, but still it wasn't adequate enough. And then finally there was 3 people on the board that weren't actually appointed. The paperwork had not been sent to the Diane Jacob, so it didn't get her office so she could actually certify them to send them to the Board of Supervisors so they can vote to appoint them. That's how the process works. So thank you very much, and vote for William Crawley. Recall Janet Wright. Also vote for Carl Meyer. Recall Gordon Hammers. Also vote to recall Tina Brown. To recall Thel Fowler. Also vote Janet Good to recall Mary Johnson. And last but not least, Terry Stevens to recall Jerry Johnson. Thank you, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, Billy. I see Tina. Tina, why don't you stand up? I don't know all the people that are running or any of the other candidates here today. Well, this is Tina Brown. Who else? All right. We've got another candidate. Brenda Weiss. Thank you.
Don't vote for her. Don't vote for her. No, not her.
Okay, well, I understand Brenda is Brenda's here. She's come to participate, but whatever. She's not running on Billy's slate. Let me just take a little breath for a moment. I can't stress again how important this recall vote is. And my hat is off. If it wasn't so hot, I'd take my hat off to you here in Potrero for doing this. One of the other people who's been very instrumental in helping us in San Diego raise awareness about this issue is Raymond Lutz, who is with a group called Citizens Oversight, and he has some concluding words to say to us today.
Thank you very much. Now, before we go much further, I want everybody to give a huge round of applause to Carol for being the main organizer of this organization. Okay. And all of the other volunteers that you see in the red vests that have helped you park, that are taking care of the puppet insurgency here, everyone that has helped organize this, and let me tell you, it's a lot of work. So let's give everybody a big round of applause. Let it out for them now. You know, Billy's right about this recall election being important, but I think he didn't quite go far enough. You see, all of the planning group members that are being recalled voted for Blackwater. Now, I don't know where they got this, and you know, if you look back in the records, you see that they reviewed this in one meeting. The vice president of Blackwater comes in and gives a big dog and pony show. And the very next meeting, they turn in their paperwork, which should be what, for maybe for a garage expansion, maybe for a road widening, you might have a one-line description, or maybe you'd have a page about the impact of the community. For an 824-acre camp, how many pages of information, how many pages of conditions, how many pages of concerns do you think there might be? You'd think they would have typewritten page after page. Each person on the committee would donate at least one page of concerns. What did they turn in? One chicken scratch line at the bottom. We are concerned about noise. Then they come back and they say, oh, we're going to try to retrofit that. We're going to add all these other conditions later to try to look like they did their work. Well, let me tell you something. This vote on December 11th is not for just the planning board. This is a vote for or against Blackwater. This is a vote to keep Blackwater out of Potrero. This is a vote to get Blackwater out of the United States and terminate it. That's right. And I would request that Blackwater take a notice of this vote. When they see that the community says no, that they'd say thank you, or we're gonna pack up and we're gonna move out. So Blackwater should let the community off the hook and not put the community through any more agony of reviewing this environmental impact report and all the processing. The community votes no, get out. Well, we'll see if they're going to actually follow through with that. You know, I came here in April. I was the only outsider from the community. I don't live in Potrero. I live in the county of San Diego. But I noticed that they were having a little bit of a time with a big intruder from out of the area. This is a huge company from North Carolina. They say, well, what do you care, Lutz? You're not from this area. How come you're up here? Well, neither is Blackwater. Blackwater is not from up here either. And so I think if you care about the Cleveland National Forest, if you care about this pristine valley, which should be saved, if you care about the future of our country, really, when you look at Blackwater as a type of company, if you care about those things, then you should be here now. And I see a lot of good people here that care. So I thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Now, I want to make one more plea to you. Citizens Oversight is the group that I am working with now. Also the East County Democratic Club. But Citizens Oversight,
is the one I want to try to inspire you to get involved in. And you can do it yourself. It isn't a join-up group, it's a do-it-on-your-own group if that's the way you want to do it. It means you go to councils, you go to city boards, and you sit there and you become the citizen in the room. Far too often, it's the insiders giving away freebies to each other and the candy to each other because no one shows up. If we would have had more people earlier, well, in this case, Blackwater tried to sneak it through without being there anyway. You know, it took the people there to find out that they had their attorney being hired by the county of San Diego. It took these insiders these citizens to be able to call them on the basic lies that they've been telling us. You know, they say, we're only going to use this valley for training military and law enforcement. Oh, let me tell you something. Brian Bonfiglio admitted the other day in the meeting that they would be able to take border security contracts. What's that mean? The valley is going to turn into a big border patrol station of private militarized border that will probably shoot on sight. Not the kind of thing we want to inspire in our relationships with Mexico now, is it? So anyway, let's. I think we're going to be transitioning to the next phase, which is the march. I'm going to, I believe, let Carol handle the logistics for that. We're going to let you guys see firsthand the beauty of this valley, and you'll just fall in love with it. And I hope, I'm very glad in a way that just today, KNX radio called me up and they said, you know, we just heard today that Blackwater actually did kill 17 people in that thing on September 16th, and not one shot was fired from anyone else. Not one shot, and they killed 16 people. This is out of control. And it's not the kind of firm that we want here. It's not the kind of firm we need in America or anywhere. They should be stopped, and that's why I did it, not just say Potrero, stop Blackwater. All the people that work for Blackwater should be in the military. There's no reason to have. This is just a money grab. A money grab from the friends of Bush to get their $1 billion. They've got $1 billion that they've gotten already since they've been founded. $1 billion that they've sucked out of our economy. And those people should just be working for the military. That's what they used to do. Petraeus, head of the military. He's got all the military under his command. And yet they can't have enough people to guard him. It's just absurd. So I want to thank you again for being here. I fall in love with Potrero and everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. What a guy. All right, Raymond. Woo! We owe Raymond a lot for documenting all of these meetings so that people can go to his website, which is stopblackwater.net, and you can see what these people are saying. And that's, if you can't go to those meetings, you know, you can hear their own words. So be sure to check out that website if you're not if you're not aware of it. Just a couple of housekeeping things. People asked about writing checks and sending them. If you want to write a check to support this work, this effort here today, you can make them out to the Peace Resource Center. We're doing the fiscal sponsorship on it. And at our table over here, the handouts all have our address. So if you don't have any money on you, you can follow up and send us a check, and we'd really appreciate it. And we thank those of you who've also given very, very generously, because it's really helped us pay for the flyers and get the word out. Demonstrations like this usually end up costing between $800 to $1,000. That's just the reality with outreach and different things that we had to purchase, like porta potties, which are back in the back there. They're the two blue porta potties back there. Back in the bushes. I like that. Let me think a second. The other thing I wanted to say is what we're going to be doing now is going on the walk, and we're going to need a couple of minutes to do a little transition here with the truck. The march is going to be led by the truck, and we will ask you to fall in behind the truck, and we will go at a very slow pace and walk up to as near as we can get to the proposed property where Blackwater wants to have its facility. We will be followed by one car very slowly, and that car is for our protection so that when we're on the road, no one can come up behind us very quickly. We have the people in the orange vests who are here to help with traffic control and guide you. Would you please follow their instructions? It's very important. We've had some interesting developments this weekend. Usually, as those of you who have been up to the gate know, you can drive right up to the gate where the private property starts. Very interestingly, this morning we found that there is a chain now up, we can't get right up to the gate. They put a chain across. I'm assuming that may be a property line. I don't know, but there's a chain there saying we cannot go any farther. So it doesn't look like we can walk right up to the gate. We'll get as close as we can. There'll be some people to direct you, because when we get up to the chain, we'll stop and we'll come back. But you can also we'll direct you up. You can go up a little hill if you feel physically that you want to do it. And you can look down into the valley, and we'll have people there. Raymond will be there to direct you down up there so you can see what you're seeing. I think it's interesting that they're scared enough of us that they had to put this chain up so we couldn't get as close as we usually can. I consider that a victory.
Keep the chain up forever.
Yeah, don't let anybody through. So that's very interesting. We've also heard that some of our signs directing people here had some sabotage done on them. This is just typical and shows you the kind of people we're dealing with. But we're not people like that. So we're here today, to support the community and show that we're good citizens and that we care about the environment, we care about Potrero. So we're not going to be dropping trash, we're not going to be trampling on anybody's property. We're here today to let people know that we oppose Blackwater, we are strong, and we are going to stop Blackwater. At any rate, today we're here to say, stop the destruction of our environment, stop war profiteering, and keep Potrero safe and livable. No Blackwater!
No Blackwater!
No Blackwater!
No Blackwater! No Blackwater!
All right.
No Blackwater!
The march is about a mile there and a mile back. We will try to, for those of you who can't do the whole distance, we'll try to have some cars out there to ferry you back. I can't even list everyone who's made this possible, but let's hear a special thank you to Randy Parks, who made this land available to us. We wouldn't be here. He's the man of the hour for coming forward and making this possible. Thank you, Randy.
Oversight.org.
All right.
You're your own.
For democracy! For the environment! To stop war profiteering! To save Potrero!
I know, but you gotta get this. Are you gonna take it with us?
Ho! Blackwater's got to go. Ho ho!
I love you! I love you too!
I love you guys!
I love you to go away!
Stop Blackwater!
great. Finally getting up to the top of the hill here.